And joining me now is James Densley, the professor at Metro State University School of Law Enforcement and Criminal Justice and co-author of The Violence Project, How to Stop a Mass Shooting Epidemic. And Chris Brown, president of Brady United, an organization focused on preventing gun violence. Chris, you know, I've been involved with Brady since Jim Brady and Sarah Brady, for whom, of course, this wonderful organization was named.
Yes.
And then we were talking about handgun violence. Now we're talking about, you know, war weapons.
Yep.
AK-47s,
exactly
mass shootings. And how do you not be dismayed? And just by the lack of public accountability for all of this?
I think that's a great question, because that's really what it is, Andrea. It's lack of public accountability, and it is dismaying. There's no way not to be dismayed by it. As you noted, we have 200+ mass shootings this year, and it's hard to be an American watching the news and hearing the latest report of people shopping, talking to their neighbors about guns, going to the doctor. This isn't freedom's safest place, as the National Rifle Association like to say. And I think across America, I've been traveling a lot, Americans are hugely fatigued, and what they want is action. They want action, and we got some from the federal level, so I don't want to be hopeless about this, but we really have to make the issue of gun violence a top priority issue at the ballot box, and also recognize it's a public health epidemic. It's on all of us, especially gun owners.
James Densley, is it becoming normalized? Are we becoming insensitized to this horror?
There's a routine to this type of violence, and I think it feels to that extent like we're in this perpetual cycle of mass shootings that we can't get out of. I hope we're not growing numb to the tragedy, though, because we need to be focused like a laser beam on solutions and doing something about this. And what's striking, I think, about those numbers that you shared at the top of this piece is that every other country in the world has social media. Every other country in the world has mental health challenges. Every other country in the world, has issues with their healthcare system and so on. But in those other countries, they do not see the level of gun violence that we see, particularly mass shootings, that we do in the United States. And it has to get to a point where we have to have a very serious conversation about how easy it is for some people to get access to a firearm in this country that shouldn't have one. And a case in point, the individual who perpetrated the Allen, Texas shooting just this weekend was a certified armed security guard. So at which point do you stop being a good guy with a gun and you become the bad guy with the gun? It's becoming harder and harder to differentiate between the two. And until we've got policies in place that can do that unequivocally, we've got a major problem in this country. It's too easy to get access to these types of weapons.
And Chris, Chuck Schumer, the majority leader, has called a caucus meeting of the Democrats for Thursday to talk about this. But we've heard from John Cornyn already that, and he was a key Republican player on the compromise deal last year, that was it. You know, the red flag laws and those changes were as far as he was going to go, and that there will not be gun legislation this year, and I guess especially in an election year. The prospects are dim.
The prospects potentially are dim for passage. Let's be clear. You need 60 votes in the Senate because of the cloture rule. I think Leader Schumer appropriately is saying, what should we bring to the floor regardless of this? And what we know is that the issue of gun violence is a top priority issue for voters across the country, and that's red states and blue states. Senator Cornyn may be saying that that's it, but I think he's also hearing from a lot in his caucus, they don't want to take votes on this. So we at Brady, we want votes on an assault weapons ban, on ensuring that we have reasonable community violence intervention programs, on expanding the Brady background check system, which has 94% approval rating. You can't find many things that Americans are more aligned on than that.
And James Densley, is there a copycat aspect to this? I was thinking of the horrible mass shooting in Serbia, of all places, which has never experienced this. And the Serbian president then talked about getting rid of access to guns completely after one shooting, and then another one happened just a few days later. So do we have, some sort of a copycat function here?
Yeah, so in our book and in our research, we document this idea that mass shooters do study other mass shooters, and they quite literally see themselves in the lives of past mass shooters. And that can be quite inspiring for others. Some of them are doing this for sort of fame-seeking notoriety reasons. Others are quite literally just searching for models of behavior. If they're feeling a certain way, they're asking, why do I feel that way? And how have others who felt this way dealt with their problems? And a mass shooting has been their solution. There's also a copycat component here with the use of these types of AR-15 style assault weapons, to the extent that people are essentially conforming to the genre conventions of what a mass shooting looks like in the United States. And that is really terrible to say. But the way in which these weapons are marketed and the way in which they appeal to mass shooters, because other mass shooters have used them previously, that contributes to the copycat component. So it's both the shootings themselves and the shooters drawing inspiration, but also the tools that are being used as well that have this copycat component attached to them.